Hey there. Good to see you again. It's been a while since we had a talk on here on Facebook Live, and I have to tell you about 2 different hospital visits that I have made in the last week, unfortunately, but they both had a happy ending, so that's good. So the first one was to a human hospital, and the second was to a vet hospital. So, hey Gwen, whatever day it was, maybe Thursday afternoon, my dad and his girlfriend had gone up to Porto for a little day trip, and they came back and they returned their car, and we were waiting to meet up, and I got a message from my dad that said, something happened, we'll be late. And I was like, what happened? Did they get in a car accident? What? He's so cryptic. So then I got another, I was asking him what's going on, and he said, Chris, his girlfriend, fell and she needs stitches. So all the streets here are cobblestone, and they're slick, and they're all of the, and the vet thing is fine. She's fine. I think she's fine. So Chris, anyways, slipped on something in the road and just did a face plant, and her whole face, oh my gosh, I'll post a picture. Like, she bruised under her eyes and scratched up her forehead and her cheek and split her nose and broke her nose. Oh my gosh. So, this very kind woman stopped and helped her up and helped her over to the side of the street, and she's just gushing blood. And the woman took my dad's phone and called an ambulance, and the ambulance came, and the whole time Chris is like, no, it's gonna be too expensive. I don't need to go to the hospital. It's fine. We'll just wash it off. It'll be fine. So they do all that, go to the hospital, to the emergency room. Everybody spoke English. Everyone was so nice. It was a very long wait. It was like 3 hours wait. But the whole thing, the ambulance ride, they did a CT scan because she fell on her head, and stitches and a doctor exam, all of that cost $170. It's insane. Oh my gosh, I'm so blessed to be here. Okay, so that was our human hospital, and everybody, I'm telling you, they were so nice. And you know, when you're at the hospital and you kind of go the wrong way, so I went the wrong way, and the guy was like, no, come here. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. I went the wrong way. He's like, you can ask me questions. Come here and ask me what you're doing, who you're looking for. Just so helpful, so nice. They're not going to smile at you all the time, but they're always going to help. So, you know, I asked him, I'm looking for this person, and he said, she's probably in one of these 2 rooms. You can just wait right here and she'll come out. It's fine. So, very nice. It was really intense. A lot of people coming in with emergencies and stuff like that, but everybody was just so nice and helpful. And she's fine. She's got a rainbow face now, got a lot of pink right here, and poor girl. And then we were at a store, we were shopping, and somehow the conversation came up about her eyes and her face. And she said, you know, I slipped and I fell on the street, and the woman goes, oh, Portugal. Portugal hurt her. And she was so upset that this happened to her in Portugal. It was so cute. Okay, so that was Thursday. They probably got to the hospital at 7. We didn't get home till midnight. I'm going to close this window. So, the next day, I think Saturday anyway, we were gonna go to another city, just to another part of Lisbon, to kind of do some touristy things over there. And Friday night, as I'm scooping Imogen's litter box, there's just blood everywhere, and her litter box is too small, so she pees out of the box every time. So I've got the wall lined with paper towels, so I can clearly see what's going on. And there was just a lot of blood in her urine. So I'm, you know, had that panic mom moment of oh my gosh, what's wrong with her? And she never cries. Cats, they don't cry. What's up with that? So I looked it up, blood in the urine in a cat, what does that mean? And it's probably a bladder infection or a urinary tract infection, or there were like 3 other things. And I was like, you know, it's probably that, because on the plane, she didn't go to the bathroom for 9 hours, and then she didn't go to the bathroom for another day because she was so nervous about moving. So that's a long time to not go to the bathroom. Any of us would definitely get a UTI if we didn't go to the bathroom for that long. So I was worried like a mom, you know, but I kind of knew that that's what it was. So I posted in a Facebook group, you know, which vet hospital should I go to where they speak English? And they told me about this hospital. So Saturday morning, I grabbed an Uber. We went to this hospital, and it was beautiful. Like sliding glass doors and lots of exposed walls, and just really clean. And like there's a patio from the waiting room into the exam rooms. Like you go into this open area and just glass everywhere. It was just absolutely stunning and really clean. We were the only ones there at the vet hospital. It was so nice. And we just went right up to her room, and the doctor was so nice and sweet and really loving towards her. And she did something she doesn't usually do. She's like out of her carrier, exploring the room. Normally she's like curled up right here, like, oh my gosh, Mom, I'm gonna die, what's happening? But I swear, like, moving to Portugal and having her own space has opened her up to be a new cat. So she's exploring and, you know, running around and making a couple of her little noises. And so he came in, and we had to do an ultrasound and take a urine sample and a blood sample. And the weird thing about this, the reason I have to tell you about this experience, is that I had to be the vet tech through this whole thing. And it freaked me out. So we go back to do the ultrasound, and I had to hold her down. So I'm holding her neck, and I had to hold her little feet. And he didn't shave her belly, thank goodness, but he kept spraying her with rubbing alcohol. So he's spraying her with a spray bottle while I'm holding on to her, and to get her wet enough so that the ultrasound thing would, you know, be able to work. And I guess her hair is so thick, and he just kept squirting her, and it was just torture. So I don't know, would I rather be in the room, be the one holding her down, or would I rather hand her off to a tech and have them just be the mean one? Oh my gosh, I don't know. It was really hard. And then, so as he's doing this, I think she probably would rather hold me, but you know how cats hate everything and everyone, so I didn't want her to have a grudge against me. If she's gonna hate someone, I'd rather she hate a vet tech. But she forgave me really quickly, so that was nice. But while he's doing the ultrasound, he wanted to take a urine sample, and you can't ask a cat to pee, so he had to stick a syringe in her and pull out urine from her bladder, and like I could see the whole imaging happening to Imogen. So he stuck the needle in, pulled the urine sample out, and it was so red. He was like, that's a lot of blood. And I was like, I can't even talk about that. Yeah, it was awful. So then we had to put her on her back so that he could examine her kidneys through the ultrasound machine. And he couldn't really see the kidneys, and he was like, you know what, it's okay. She could have great looking kidneys and they could be in trouble, or she could have bad looking kidneys and they could be fine. So he wasn't too worried that we couldn't get the ultrasound to look at the kidneys. So the next thing I had to do was hold her neck and hold her front feet down so he could take a blood sample from her neck, from the big vein in her neck. And I was like, I can't even do this. But I did it. So I'm holding on to her, and I'm like, you know, the thoughts start going through my brain like, I'm such a bad mom. I should have seen this before. How did I not know that she was so sick? How did I not? Like, I'm going through all this in my mind, and he goes, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I had to like push that thought back and be like, you know what, I'll deal with myself when we get home. This is her time. I need to be focused and calm and reassuring for her. So I kind of got recentered a little bit. And he was like, last Saturday, a guy was holding his dog and he passed out. So I had to drop his dog and attend to that guy. And I was like, no, I'm fine. This is fine. Do it. It's fine. And then he had to shave a little bit of her neck because her hair's so thick. And we couldn't get the blood sample. So he called another doctor in, and then he held Imogen, and he's like rubbing her nose with his nose and just kissing her forehead. He was absolutely an angel, this doctor at the vet hospital. And the other doctor just, no, before that, the other doctor looked at the urine sample and said in Portuguese, I know what they're saying. He said, isn't that the blood sample? There was so much blood in the urine sample. And the doctor's like, no, that's the urine sample. I don't know how my brain knew that that's what they were saying, but I knew what they were saying. So the other doctor was able to just get the blood sample real quick, done and done. So that was perfect. But he was so sweet to like nuzzle her and rub her little face. And they were like, her little veins are so small they couldn't get a vein. So I think she's fine. They did the kidney analysis, liver analysis, all those numbers were fine, which I was really worried about. If there's so much blood in the urine, then that infection could affect the kidneys, but her kidneys were fine, so that's good. She's on an anti-inflammatory and an antibiotic, and I think the antibiotic will just clear it all up, and she should be good to go in a couple of days. But it was just so sweet. And then I had to hold him again, or I had to hold her again when I'm looking down because she's right there. Yeah, it's such a relief. I really think it was just a UTI from all the stress and the moving and all of that. She's so sensitive to that stuff. So I think she just kind of overreacted in her little body. Oh yeah, so I had to hold her again so he could give her the anti-inflammatory shot and an antibiotic shot. So he kind of, gave her a little boost of that. And like, I was so ready to, hold on her, hold her head, and he was like, just do this. And I was like, okay, hold her head. And he's like, no, just do this. And I was like, oh, just love. And he kept saying, just love, just love. It was so sweet. So I just rubbed her little forehead, just love. It was such a sweet little moment of like, just give her love. And he really loved it that I said that. So that was cute. So that whole process, the, check into the hospital, ultrasound, antibiotics, vet visit, all of that was €190, which is probably $210 or something. Yeah, the only time they got, aw, thank you, just love, is that the sweetest thing. Yeah, I think it was just stress from the move, and then I was super stressed out, last week and the week before because of that awful apartment. And then the apartment was so bad we had to move my dad and his girlfriend here. So then she has house guests and she doesn't like that. She wants it me and her, and that's it. So that was stressful for her, and I was out kind of playing tourist with them, and so it was just all way too much stress for her. So I don't know how I could have known beforehand or what I could have done. Like, you don't do preventative. I don't know how I could have known. So I'm kind of forgiving myself for not knowing. Maybe I should have known that the urine was getting a little darker, but you never know what cat urine looks like because it's always absorbed by the kitty litter. So I don't know. But yeah, all of that was $190. So like both hospital visits were less than $200. And it just seems like they're not taking advantage. They're not exploiting healthcare and procedures and stuff like that. I don't know what it is, why it's so much less expensive here to use the same equipment, the same machines. The doctors have the same expertise. I don't know. But I'm very glad to be here. I'm so glad she's okay. She's fine. I have to give her the anti-inflammatory and the antibiotic, but it's a pill and some liquid. I don't have to give her shots. So that's good. But yeah, both, you know, the human hospital was very nice. It was a little more stressful and intense. But that vet hospital was so great. They were so sweet to her and really loving and really clean. It was funny though, the doctor was the one who was like checking me out, and I don't think he's used to doing the payment system and all of that. So he put my card in, and it might have been declined or something. And he said, "Oh, we don't take Visa." And I was like, "Yeah, you do. Everybody takes Visa." And he's like, "Yeah, we don't take Visa." And I'm like, all right, where's an ATM? So I had to run to an ATM and get cash and come back and pay with cash. But that was really funny. And then I got back, and the people in front of me, like 2 of them used their Visa, and I was like, that guy, he doesn't know. He just told me they don't take credit cards. But yeah, everything's fine, and I don't know, I'm so glad that I'm here, and if there's an emergency, like, there's no cost to the ambulance ride for the person. Actually, it cost more for me to take her to the vet than it was for the ambulance, because I had to pay for the Uber. But yeah, everything is just, it's nice here. It's nice. You know, not everything is magical. Obviously, we had some health issues and a lot of stress, but like, the systems that are in place relieve that stress. So that was really, really helpful. So I feel like I'm coming down with a cold because I've had those moments, those like snap moments of stress that I can feel it in my whole body. Like, I just get zapped. Like when I lost my Metro card, I just felt electricity through my body. It was so intensely stressful. And then, you know, seeing blood where there should be urine, just so stressful. So that was the cat. She's okay. Probably like a bladder infection or a urinary tract infection. For those of you joining late, she's fine. The doctor was great. Got her on an antibiotic and an anti-inflammatory, and I feel good about that. But yeah, just those moments of stress. Yeah. You're welcome. It is fun to live vicariously. I like that too. And I don't want to make it seem like everything is rainbows and sunshine all the time. It is sunny all the time. But, you know, there are things that happen in life, and, you know, that's not perfect. And these are some of the things that have happened. But like I said, the systems that they have in place here make it a little bit more bearable, which is really great. So, yeah, so I think I'm kind of coming down with a cold, but I made lentil soup last night, so I've got lots of lentil soup and doing my regular treatment routine, which involves a lot of protein, a lot of liquids, like drinking tea all day. I've been working on the couch all day and just trying to kind of slow down and be mindful of how I feel and kind of check in with my body. My friend Petya, she might watch this. She deals a lot with this stuff about the stress that we hold in our physical body and not just mentally. And I think the first step is always like noticing and feeling when you feel that stress, so that you can pick up some, you know, coping mechanisms, like take some deep breaths or recognize that you're safe. I lost my Metro card. I'm freaking out about that. It's very stressful, but what am I going to do? I'm just going to get another Metro card. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's very stressful in the moment, but I'm just going to do the next thing. I'm going to get another Metro card, and it's fine. And, you know, I saw blood on Imogen's urine, and I'm just going to take her to the vet and see what happens, and just kind of like recentering when those times happen. But you know, my body went through just way too many stressful things this week when Chris fell and broke her nose and, you know, cut her nose open and stuff. And I didn't know what was going on, and I thought, oh my gosh, she broke her foot or, you know, something. And seeing that awful apartment, that was really stressful. And because it wasn't the apartment I thought. Like, I was given a link to a different apartment. I got there and it was this apartment, and it was awful. Oh my gosh. The locals were so nice. I can't read the whole thing. Yeah, when I got that message from my dad and I was like, where are you and what hospital are you going to? Because I was in another part of the city and we were trying to meet up. And he was like, I'm going to this hospital. And I said, okay, is that near this other metro? Because he had told me 2 different metro stations. So I had to check, like, which one was it near? And I was like, I know that he's going to have a story of incredible kindness when I get there. And he did, like that woman who, you know, grabbed his phone and called the hospital, called for an ambulance, and she stayed with them until the ambulance came. Like, the locals are so nice, and people came to check on her not because they wanted to witness the drama, but because they wanted to care about somebody and help and, you know, be helpful and supportive. And it's just so, it was really, really nice. I'm sorry that you fell down a hill and tore your knee. That's awful. Ugh. Oh, I keep hearing popping. I'm soaking chickpeas because I cannot find hummus, you guys. Oh my gosh, I found hummus. It comes in a little jar. The jar is like this big. It's like maybe 8 ounces. I'm serious. It's like not even enough hummus for 2 days. I'm gonna eat that whole jar in one day and it's like $3.50. So I have to cook my own hummus, make my own hummus. So I'm soaking chickpeas and I'll boil them up tonight or tomorrow and make more hummus because I need my hummus. So that was funny. So that was my tale of 2 hospitals. Both of them, the people were so nice. The Person hospital was a little more stressful and intense. The vet hospital was a different kind of stress because my baby's sick and I'm stressed out for her, but so clean and quiet and just everyone was nice and just love. That little doctor, he was so sweet. Just love. He's not a little doctor, but he's younger than me, so I can say that. That was really sweet of him. He took good care of her, and she feels better. She's, well, I hope she feels better. I'm sure that anti-inflammatory is helping a lot. And then and my dad and Chris left Sunday night. Is that last night? Last night they left. I don't know what day it is. They left Saturday night. Sunday. They were gone Sunday. So it's just the girls again, and she is happy about that. She's been snuggling with me all day. Probably because I'm fighting a cold, and she's like, you need to sit down, Mommy. I'm going to sit on you. Make you hold still. So I just popped out today to get some bread because the bread, oh, you get like a roll like this big, and it's 12 cents. So I went down to the grocery store and it was warm, like they just made these rolls. I know I shouldn't be eating bread, but when you have lentil soup, nice crusty bread is so good. So I'm having bread with my lentil soup. And I've promised myself I can only have 2 of those things per week. Maybe I'll get down to 1 per week. They're so good. They're only 12 cents. I have to have them. All right, my next update, I don't know what my next update will be about. What do you guys want to know about? I've been writing down some ideas. I'm going to write a post about Uber versus taxi because I've been taking both and kind of alternating. Yeah, I think it is a lot healthier. I don't need to eat a whole loaf every day, and they're so cheap that I totally could eat a whole loaf every day. So I think moderation is good here. I'm still gonna eat bread, but not 1 a day. Because I did that last 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh, I'll just have 1 a day, and it really slows me down, so I don't. But I did have pasta too, so like bread and pasta, that's a lot of wheat. So I can eat less wheat and I'll be fine. I've been looking forward to eating my soup though, so I'm excited to eat my lentil soup. I'm such a nerd. But yeah, I'm making notes of things to talk about, so if there's anything you guys want to know about, and I can't wait to give you a video tour of my new apartment. It's so cute. Oh, I'm so excited. Such a relief. That whole process was interesting. Maybe how's my business from across the pond going? Schedule challenges and technology challenges. Yeah, I will definitely give an update on that. That'll be a good video, separate from this one. Yeah, it's been good, but there are some challenges. So yeah, I'll definitely give an update about that. Especially for my West Coast clients, because we're 8 hours apart. So yeah, so the schedule challenges haven't been an issue yet, but I think they will be. So, but it's nice. I have mornings to myself. Mornings are really quiet. I can sleep in without feeling guilty. I do end up working a little bit later than I normally like to, but that's okay. It's just later than I normally do, and I like it. I like just, you know, putting a show on Netflix and just working on my website or other people's websites or stuff like that. So I think the business is going to shift, and that will be a whole different video. Yeah, I hope so. We'll see if I'm brave enough to make that change too. Yeah. Good questions. All right. I'm going to let you all go. So my first 2 hospital experiences here have been really good in terms of people speaking English and in terms of the cost. It's not a barrier here. It's really nice. And I think when I get my resident card, I will have access to health insurance, which is also really nice. I am happy to pay for that, but I don't think I have to. So that's really awesome. And for now I have travel health insurance, and but like, it's just not that expensive to even have to go to the ER. So it's very cool. Yeah. So thanks for joining me, you guys. Comment down below if you have any other topics. These are really good topics, Gwen. And I'll see you in the next video. Hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you don't have to go to the hospital or 2 hospitals in 1 week. That would be great. All right, bye. Ciao.